Hi, Teri here from Stamping Magic. Welcome back to my channel. Today I've got another fancy fold card to show you. This is a Slimline Triple Easel Card. I've used the Kindest Gnomes stamp set together with papers from the Storybook Gnomes Designer Series paperback. In fact, the images come from the paper pack as well. The only thing stamped is the sentiment for this card. The three main images matched three of the images from the stamp set. So if you wanted to, you could stamp them and then colour them. It's up to you. I chose to die cut them from the paper for speed. Now on the back is a large panel where you can write your message, and if you wanted to, you could stamp perhaps the corners of this as well. Now the card does fold flat and it will fit into one of our slimline envelopes that you can find in the annual catalogue. You just want to make sure that the little house part doesn't extend too far past the edge of the card. It's a really lovely design to make and it's very simple. So let's get started. These are all the measurements you need for all the elements required to create this project. So if you're interested in reproducing it, take a screenshot so you can refer to it later. I'm going to use Pacific Point cardstock for my base card this time. Now I'm placing it into the Simply scoreboard with the short side across the top, and I'm going to score at the halfway point, which is 2 3/4 inches. I'm going to use my trimmer next to do some cutting. Now with the long side across the top, I'm going to line up the left-hand edge at 2 3/4 inches, which is 7 centimeters, and I'm going to cut between the score line and the top edge of the card. Next, I'm going to move it along to 5.5 inches, and I'm going to repeat. So I'm cutting again between the score line and the top edge of the card. And that's the cutting complete, so you've got 3 panels on 1/2 of the card. Now each of these 3 panels, and they're all of equal size, need to be scored. The outside panels will be scored diagonally and the middle panel horizontally. Now I've gone back to using my Simply scoreboard to do this, but you could use your Stampin' trimmer if you prefer. The 2 outside squares will be diagonally scored in opposite directions. Now with the panels facing towards the left, you're scoring from the top left to the bottom right. Now on my Simply scoreboard, I've marked one of the grooves and I'm aligning those 2 points with that groove. So I know when I score, it will be in a straight line between the 2 points. So I can go ahead and score the first panel. So again, top left to bottom right. Now I'm going to do the third panel next, and this one goes in the opposite direction. So again, with the panels towards the left, this will be bottom left to top right. So again, I'm lining up those 2 points with the marked groove on my Simply scoreboard. Just taking my time to get them perfectly aligned, and then I can make my score. So that's the 2 outside panels complete. I've just got to do the middle panel now, so I'll fold the others out of the way, put it in the top left corner, and I'm going to score down at 1 3/8 of an inch, which is the halfway point. And that's all the scoring complete. I can now fold on the scored lines, and all of them are going to be mountain folds, and burnish them well with your bone folder. And that's the card base complete really. All that's required now is the decorating. These are all the mats you need to complete the project. So I have 2 pool party cardstock mats of the same size, and I'm going to layer one with a basic white mat and one with the Storybook Gnomes Designer Series paper. Now this one will go on the base on the inside, and the other one will go on the base on the outside, and that's where you write your message. So if you want to decorate that white panel, really you want to stamp it now. Now for the middle panel, I've got 3 circles. The scallop circle and the pool party circle were created using the layering circle dies. Now I used the second size down scallop for the Pacific Point scallop circle, and the second size down plain for the pool party circle. The Designer Series paper circle with the stitching around the edge was created using one of the Stylish Shapes dies, and again it's the second size down circle. I used the smallest circle from this set to die cut 2 of the circles from the mushroom paper, and also 2 plain circles. Now I'm going to use the plain circles to back the other ones, just to give them a little additional strength. For the middle panel on the base card, I've got a small pool party mat and a small piece of the Storybook Gnomes Designer Series paper. Now for the diagonal panels, I've got a square of pool party cardstock, and I'm going to cut this diagonally in half. I like to use a guillotine for this because you get a nice sharp edge, but you can use your trimmer if you want to. So those 2 pieces will go on each side, and then I want paper to go on top. Now if you've got a non-directional design, you just need 1 piece of paper. My design is directional, as you can see it's little trees, so I have to cut my pieces from 2 separate squares. Now I'm going to check first of all in which direction I need to diagonally cut, just to make sure I get it right. So if I place my paper, I can see that I need to go from top left to bottom right for this side. So I'm going to line up those points on the blade of my guillotine and make the cut. There we go, so this piece will fit nicely here, and when the card is open it will be in the correct position. Now if I try to use the other piece that I cut on the other side, you will see that it will mean my trees are not in the right direction. Okay, so this is why with directional paper you have to make the cut from 2 separate pieces. So I'm going to place it again on this side, and this time I'm going to be cutting from top right to bottom left. So I'm going to line up those points against the blade, and then I'll make the cut. And then just double checking that I've cut it the right way, and I have, which is good. So I'll keep those pieces together to be placed later on. Now I'm going to layer all these pieces together off camera, and then I'll come back. And here I've layered all the panels together as they should be. I've also gone ahead and added a dimensional onto each of the little toadstool circles, and I'll put these aside for later. Now I can carry on and layer all these panels onto my card. here is the Kindest Gnomes stamp set. Now you've got a choice of 4 gnomes that you could stamp and colour, but these are the 2 that matches the ones on the paper. You've also got the house as well. Now all I'm using today is this sentiment. I'm stamping on basic white card and I'm using Pacific Point ink. And then this will be die cut using another of the Stylish Shapes dies, and it's this one. And I've gone ahead and added dimensionals onto the back. I've die cut 2 of the gnomes and the gnome house from the Storybook Gnomes Designer Series paper. Now this is the sheet that I got the toadstool house from. You see you've got a full sheet of the houses that you can use, and you get 2 sheets of each of these. The gnomes come from this sheet. So again you get a great selection and 2 sheets of them. And then the little toadstools come from this design, and this one has the snowflake design on the back. Now all of them were die cut using the gnomes dies. You've got outline dies for each of the images, and you've got another set of dies that you can use to build a different gnome, or you've got other pieces, toadstools and grasses, that you can use to build a scene. So the toadstool house, and then I used 2 of the other outline dies for the gnomes. I've also used the dies to die cut from basic white card. Okay, and this I'm going to use to back the images. Now there's 2 reasons for this. One, to add strength, because the images are just designer series paper, although it is a good weight. And the other reason is for the gnomes in particular. Once they're set in place, some of the back of the piece will show. So to have it covered in white makes it just a little bit neater, I guess. And that's my card complete. It's so simple to create, but it looks gorgeous. Now, if you struggle to get the gnomes and the centre panel to stand up and not bounce back, then just give that centre fold line a really good burnish and you'll find that they stand up just fine. Now here's another look at my original card. Now the red that I've used for this one is Poppy Parade. Everything else is more or less the same. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Bye for now.